Welcome back to Check the Pulse. Today, as usual, okay, wait, first of all, I have a broken finger and you would think I have a cool story and I don't. I was playing soccer, someone pushed me and it cracked. So there's that story. But today, as usual, I'm grateful and honored to have Mr. Anthony Ricciardi on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to be here.
I'm grateful to have you here. And if you notice, we changed up the design in the back a little bit. Sick paintings, okay? Hit them up if you want one. Don't sleep on it. That's all I'm gonna say. But Anth, for those that don't know you, want to introduce yourself a little bit? Give them a bit of your backstory, and then we'll dive into the conversation.
Awesome. Yeah, my name is Anthony Ricciardi. I'm born and raised here in Toronto. My whole entire life, I wanted to become an artist. But growing up, no one said, go do that. That's a realistic career. So I went to school on a baseball scholarship in Alabama, at Alabama State, and then I studied finance. I started working in finance after I graduated, and every single night and weekend I painted. And over those 4.5, 5 years that I worked, small opportunities started to come up. And I finally said, if I'm going to do something crazy, quit my job and become an artist, I should do it while I'm young. Yeah. And almost 10 years ago now, I left to pursue art full time. And since then, I've done art all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Fun.
So what moment, because you must have had a moment where you were like, okay, yes, I'm going to quit. As you said, I'm going to go into art. But what was really that driving thought in your head? Was this something that kind of triggered you? You said, I've had enough. This is it. I'm done.
It was just such a slow process over. I always think back to that question because it was such a slow process that was this constant tipping point.
Yeah.
The actual moment was I had this opportunity in New York. It was a small mural, and I had to turn it down because I worked. Right. I couldn't take the time off work. Right. And I had already taken off time to paint. Right. And I finally said I turned it down. And 2 months later, it came back. And they're like, hey, we actually didn't get an artist for it. We need you. And I was like, well, I'm turning down art. And it wasn't for money. I wasn't even getting paid.
Yeah.
So it's looking back now, absolute insanity. I left a structured finance career, making really good money at 22, 23 years old.
Right.
And to go do something to make zero. But I just knew if I gave it 100%, what was the worst case scenario? I was going to go back to work. Who cares? So I was like, I need to do this. And so the tipping point I was very grateful for was a singular project. But leading up to that, I had many art shows that I hosted myself. I did a bunch of different things. I did murals, I did shows, but none of them were to justify quitting.
Right.
It was all that stacked. And I finally said, let's just, so the week of my wedding, the night I closed on my first house, I was like, okay, let's just go all in.
Wow.
And yeah, I haven't looked back.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing though. And honestly, that's the definition of betting on yourself because you knew your talent and you followed your heart. Obviously, it's a big, big risk. Yeah. I was in corporate too. I worked at the bank and I left to start my own company. And I get it. You have benefits, you have coverage. Everyone's looking at me what do you mean?
What are you
You're
doing?
leaving the bank? Yeah. And it's but you don't realize that if I believe in myself and I have a passion that's within me, you're never going to get it. You're going to look at the safety side of it as an outsider. Yep. And I think for you, obviously, there's that notion too of starving artist. Yep. You're going to go be an artist. Well, how successful are you going to be? How did you kind of tune out any of that negativity that was brought towards you?
I ended up realizing that my parents or family friends or friends would say that stuff to me. They really just cared about me. Right. The truth was they're not saying, Anthony, you can't do this. Mm-hmm. They're saying that, why are you going to put yourself through the potential of stress when you have something secure? Right. So once I actually realized those people saying that actually cared about me. They weren't saying it because they want to put me down. Right. And I mean, some people maybe they did, but who cares?
Yeah.
The truth was when I think about the people that I love and they were trying to give me advice on hey, you have a comfortable situation. Just don't make yourself uncomfortable. It was coming from a place of love. I'm a father now and I have 2 kids. And if they came to me with the same situation, you're making $100,000 in finance. Yeah. You're going to go quit to make zero with all this uncertainty and you're going to go try something that 1 million people have tried and failed. Don't. Yeah. Just come on. You have a chance to be comfortable for the rest of your life. So I really took it as they just loved me. Right. They were actually just saying it because out of true love. And I was able to realize that and say well, I'm going to make you guys all proud now. I'm not going to prove anybody wrong, even though that's how it comes out and to the public. But it's I'm going to make you guys proud. Right. And that was the goal.
I love that though. That's a massive mindset shift. And if anything, it fuels you in a good way. Because you're okay, I get it. You're trying to protect me, but you'll also be able to see what I can do. And then at the end of the day, because they love you, they're happy for you regardless.
Of course.
Right? So yeah, that's definitely amazing. What inspires you for your art?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I do a lot of paintings with hearts, as
Right.
you probably can see.
Yeah.
And you said it perfectly about a minute ago. You said you followed your heart.
Right.
And that is the root of everything.
Yeah.
To do anything in life, obviously it takes work, it takes dedication, it takes long nights and early out, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing it from your heart and something you truly love, then nothing will actually happen at scale. So what inspires me and continues me creating is all these paintings are, in theory, journals to myself that, like, if I keep following my heart, if I keep working hard, if I keep dedicating myself, things will work out.
Right.
And I say that to myself in every single painting. And by doing that, that relates to other people. People are able to say, like, oh, wait, I could see myself in that.
Yeah.
And you never mean for that. Like, I never paint something with the intention of, like, this will speak to that person.
Right.
It speaks to me first. And that's how I've also had to get over people not liking my art,
Right.
because that's what happens, right? I've been in major galleries and major malls where someone can walk in and say, that's the most beautiful painting I've ever seen. The next person, the very next 30 seconds later, can say that is the worst painting I've ever seen. But the root of all of that is, if I love it and it inspires me, it doesn't matter, because it'll find its home
For sure.
that way.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about art in general, whether it's actual art or music, like
Yep.
it's all up to interpretation.
Yep.
And the right person will fall in love with the piece, and that's who it's meant to be with. That's
Exactly.
who it will resonate with.
Beauty.
100%. And like, do you find that your pieces get interpreted differently around the world, depending like what countries you're in or what areas you're in?
So I think with the last maybe 5 years of my artwork, I've been very focused on a singular style, which I believe is my own now. Like I tried so many different things.
Right.
I used to do a lot of pop culture, used to do a lot of abstract. Now with my motif, like the heart that I've included, it's relatively self-explanatory.
Right.
Like I'm not doing anything so abstract that needs a paragraph of writing to explain. I'm either putting inspiring quotes, an inspiring person alongside my hearts. And the interpretation globally, like if I was in Dubai and I did a show, they can see that and be like, oh, follow your heart, shoot for the moon, dream big. This makes sense anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that from an interpretation standpoint, it works everywhere.
Yeah. Which I agree. It's pretty like world renowned in the sense where it's easy. Which I also think can really be tied to success as well, because it's not so complex where someone can stare at it and actually have no idea.
Yeah.
At the minimum, you're getting, wow, it's a heart. I feel love, right? And okay, so then my question is, because you've put quotes along some of them as well. What's one of your favorite quotes you've ever put on?
When you follow your heart, incredible things can happen. So like, I mean, that's in a lot of paintings, but I do a lot of shorter ones, whether it's dream big or work hard or keep going.
Yeah.
I love keep going because it's so relatable to everything you're doing in life. Whether I'm talking to my 5-year-old son and say like, he can't figure out this problem or he's trying to work out or whatever it is, like keep going.
Yeah.
It works out. And so I love that. But yeah, there's like a lot of things like that. Yeah.
Do your kids ever ask you like to be part of your process of creating the paintings?
My daughter's only one, so she just wants to make a mess. But like, my son is an artist now. Like he is a sold artist. He's sold more paintings than I did at his age, that's for sure.
I love that.
But he wanted to start painting. He paints with me all the time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he doesn't he's just learning about the concept of money or making money. He's 5. And he's like, well, I want to do these. I want to sell them. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll post them for you.
Yeah.
So we did these a little bigger than these canvases here, and I posted it on my Instagram, and he sold like 15 paintings for $15 each. It cost me money to ship them out. I was like, buddy, I'm like, you know what? Good. You made your money. I'm so happy. This is amazing. He's like, Daddy, I made money. Literally, I sat with him to make invoices. We shipped out paintings.
Wow.
We did it like legit.
Yeah.
And he was so happy, obviously, right? Like he made a couple $100. It was incredible. I'm like, wait, now I have to ship out all these paintings.
Like, no, I'm taking that cost.
It was just funny. I'm like, of course, we'll do this every day of the week. So, they love it.
For sure. I love that though. That's so sweet.
So
that's
fun.
so
It was
cute.
so fun.
How old's your son?
5.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, he's
he's
a gem.
gonna keep that with him too, right? Now you give him this momentum, like you're inspiring him. Yeah. And I always say, like, people that are entrepreneurs that have children, like they're sponges. So everything you do, they see. And I think sometimes people are fast to shut the kids down, like, oh, you're still young.
Yep.
Whereas you literally sat him through that process. Some people could say, well, he's only 5, but no, he's actually paying attention more than you think. Yeah. So that's like so sweet. I love that.
The last podcast I was on last month, he actually he came and he was interviewed for 10 minutes.
Stop.
I was like, we got to start. If he was off school today, he would be here with me.
I would do it all day.
It would be super fun.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
and when they asked him what do you want to be when you go, he's like, I want to be daddy, which is, I mean, obviously a dream for me,
Yeah.
but like we want to be an artist like Daddy because
Right.
he sees what I do.
For sure.
And I
yeah.
can, the only tricky part about being a dad, and I'll speak to like the, I guess, parents out there, is like, he doesn't, obviously my schedule is astronomically flexible.
Right.
I drive him to school, I pick him up, I bring him to baseball, I can do everything with him.
Yeah.
But then at night, I sometimes have to work.
Right.
Or like in the morning on a weekend, I have to work. Or like yesterday, for example, it's a Sunday, I had to work all day.
Yeah.
Because my schedule is totally irregular.
Right.
And for a child, they can't grasp that. Like if I can't put him to bed one night or I can't sleep with him, whatever it may be, he'll be like, well, why? What do you mean we have to work right now?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but Daddy didn't work during the day because I was with you. So I have to do it at some point. So they can't grasp that part. And that's a really tricky thing because if I worked a structured 9 to 5, I would be home with them every night. So that is tricky.
Yeah.
Or even the travel. Like I travel a lot and they can't come on every trip. They come on 85% of them, but they can't come on every trip.
Right.
So that's tricky too. That's the only thing that like as a parent I have to work around. But
Is there something that you could suggest or give advice to parents dealing with that has maybe worked for you?
yeah, I just think the time that I do spend with them, I try to be as absolutely present as possible. Right. And again, because of my career, that's more often than not. Like I can do it often, but I know I haven't got good at I mean, if it's 7 p.m. and I have to take a call because I'm talking to like my gallery in Australia, and it's morning there, he can't grasp that. He's like, what do you mean? Like we should be watching, can we watch TV or can we play cards or can we go for a run? Like whatever it is. Yeah. So I haven't got good at that yet, but just showing him that I'm trying and working is powerful.
For sure. And he'll feel that just in your energy, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't say it, like energy can be picked up at from any age, especially as kids, like they're sensitive to it. So
for sure,
he'll feel your love and like your effort into trying to adapt to that. And I think you're crushing it for sure. And if anything, it's a learning experience. So you just keep growing with it. And I assume like your wife's very supportive of it as well.
Of course, she's incredible. Yeah.
What's I guess you could say like the biggest gallery or show your work has ever been at?
I don't know. It's so tricky. Like my first big gallery was in Yorkdale Mall here in Toronto. Anybody's from Toronto. Yeah. And I was there for like 5 years. So like that was obviously big as a growing up in Toronto. I worked in Toronto when I was in high school. I mean, worked in Yorkdale when I was in high school. So to have a gallery there, my name, that was obviously incredible. Yeah. I have an ongoing gallery in Sydney, Australia, which is amazing. Yeah. They do really well out there and it's really exciting. When I did the pop-up in Dubai, it was awesome. But I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know there definitely isn't a I mean, Yorkdale, because it was the start of my gallery career. Right. And it was my own gallery. Yeah. Will always be so meaningful to me.
I love that. Yeah. And I like that you are like worldwide because you can see different, economies, different demographics. Yeah. And like we said, the cool thing about art is you don't actually have to change your style. It just gets interpreted differently depending on where the art is.
Exactly.
If you can collab with anybody on art, dead or alive, who would it be?
Like to make a painting?
Yeah, together.
It would have to be, it would just be class. It would be like Andy Warhol or Basquiat, like just because they're like the most classic of my style, modern mixed contemporary. Yeah. My favorite artist he's not unknown in the art world. He's more unknown pop culture. His name is Julian Schnabel. I just absolutely love his artwork because it was the first time I remember I was probably 10 years old going to the AGO here in Toronto and seeing his exhibit. Yeah. And I was with my uncle, who was my biggest inspiration to become an artist. And we both looked at each other. We're like, we could do this. Yeah. So I remember that so vividly. And he's still alive, and I would love to do something with him. For sure. But yeah, from a painting standpoint.
Yeah. I love that though, because like I feel like no matter what industry everyone's in, if they're following their heart, you do have that one person you kind of look up to or had that moment for you as a child where you're like, damn, I want to do that. Like that person's cool.
And you end up realizing that everything we're doing in life, we're not reinventing the wheel.
No. 100%.
Like in anything that you're doing in life, someone's done it. Yeah. So like there is a framework to follow. There is something. You're going to have your own interpretation of it. You're going to spin it in your own direction. But we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. Yeah. Like do something, work your hardest, give it your all, dedicate your life to it, and it'll work out.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Yeah. If there's one person that you could paint a painting for and give it to them, anyone in the world, who would it be?
That's tough. I don't know. I've done some pretty cool ones.
Okay, then let me reverse it. Who's the coolest painting you've given? Like
done something for would be Lil Wayne.
No way.
That would be the
dude. That's so sick.
Favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite.
That's actually so sick.
Yeah, so that one was super cool. And actually, when I did the little video with Neighborhood, I told a story, but I'll tell it really quickly.
Yeah, of course.
I had one of my really good friends, his name's Euro. He signed to Young Money. And for Wayne's birthday, like 2 years ago, we did a painting for him. And I never thought anything of it. Like I didn't end up I went to his house to deliver, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So like I didn't end up getting to meet him when I delivered it.
Right.
So fast forward like 8 months, he comes out with a new music video and he's in his studio and the painting's there. And I'm like, wait, he put it up in his studio? Like I'm mind blown.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, the crazier part of the story is I'm sitting at Drake's house and Lil Wayne, as a Euro goes tell him, hey, that's the artist that did that painting for you. And he gets up and gives me a hug and says, I love your art. And I'm like, I'm done here. I can retire with a smile on my face. Lil Wayne's my favorite person in the whole world. So I'm like, he just said he likes my art.
He gave me a hug.
It. He gave me like, that's it. It's done. We're done. I don't need to do anything else. So that was like really, really cool. And then from a sports standpoint, literally 3 days ago, I was in Cabo. Yeah. And I played baseball in college and I was a pitcher. And my whole entire life, I love someone named Roger Clemens. He was a pitcher for the Red Sox, Yankees, and Blue Jays.
Oh, wow.
And he's one of the best pitchers of all time. Yeah. I looked up to him since I was 3 years old. Yeah. And I got to have dinner with him at this event. He was there. And so I donated this painting. This painting raised $75,000 for charity.
I saw that video.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
So it was super fun. But he was there. And then after I went to go talk to him, he's like, oh my God, I love your art. I'm like,
stop.
So my favorite musician of all time, then my favorite athlete of all time. I'm honestly like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So when I think of like who I want to do paintings for, that's not to say like, oh my God, I've done them all. Yeah. I'm saying like, for me, like, I don't know. I don't think, because oftentimes I'll do a painting for a family that no one really knows. Right. And they're the most interesting, most incredible people in the world. Right. And like they've built success or they've built businesses, and it's like absolutely mind blowing. So sometimes just those conversations and that setup is so beautiful. For sure. That it's hard for me to think of, because those two, literally Roger Clemens 3 days ago and then Wayne like last year, is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like, because typically someone's answer would be their favorite person or whatever, but you already had Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
like,
that's already like wild.
And could we just tap in? You just casually said, when I was sitting at Drake's house.
Yeah,
like,
no,
that's
it was
so sick.
Yeah.
You're like, whatever, it's fine.
No, I was with Euro. He brought me there. Yeah.
But that's cool though. How was that experience? Because I feel like
amazing.
Obviously, so many people, especially if you're from Toronto, are like, I want to meet Drake. This, that.
I did a painting for him too, which is fantastic. And I mean, Drake is Toronto. Like
he literally
is. So like that's iconic in itself. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's just
that's really cool.
It was really.
And I saw even Grant Cardone, because I went to his conference 2 years ago. And then I saw you posted him, and I was like,
which one? You went to GrowthCon?
Oh my God.
The big one?
Yeah, GrowthCon. Yeah.
So all my art would have been up there. Yeah, the one at Turnberry? Or I don't know, maybe
no, it was in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, yeah, that's right. All my art would have been up there. So I did a whole collection for him.
That's so crazy.
So a lot of the artwork in their office, but also all the artwork that they use for their products, prints, mouse pads, everything is my art.
That's amazing.
So I've done a lot with him. He's awesome. He's been they've been awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
But even like guys like that, like business moguls and stuff like that, it's always so incredible. Like, I mean, he's a celebrity in his own right, of course. Right. But just from a business standpoint, it's so inspiring and cool to see. For
sure. Well, each person that you give a piece of art to, like, you're also learning their story as much as they're learning yours. So like, just in that exchange itself, like, you're growing not only your network, but like your wisdom, your knowledge, like your understanding, which is really neat, right?
And even crazier, like, these are clients, they're buying artwork. Yeah. Like, these are like, this is not like a birthday, like a gift from an agent or something. Like, these are people that appreciate artwork, which is crazy to me. Yeah. Like, right? Like people that I look up to or have my whole entire life. Now they're friends. It's just absolutely wild.
So what would you say, like, if there is someone that's starting out as an artist and maybe they can dream of, giving artwork eventually to a lot of these big names, like, what's one piece of advice you'd give them right now?
Well, I think it expands further than art. Like, if you're doing anything entrepreneurial, anything creative, anything in business, like, it's just dedicating yourself to the actual craft and then truly loving what you're doing. Yeah. Because going back to people not liking art or not liking something you're doing is, if you love what you're doing, someone will find love in it. Right. And I mean, there's often times where, like, I could want to give something or want to sell something to a certain person, but they don't like my art, and that's perfectly fine. So I think the most important advice is understanding that when you do something that you truly love, that you're passionate about, that you can look at every single day and say, this inspires me, then in turn, it'll inspire others.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And that goes across so many different industries.
For sure. And like I say that a lot too with like a lot of the guests I have on, majority of them have been entrepreneurs. And obviously I'll ask them questions for their industry or their niche.
Yeah.
But the advice can be put into any industry and any niche. At the end of the day, I feel all entrepreneurs, doesn't matter what level you're at, can resonate with each other. Same struggles, same wins. It looks glorified. It's not always glorified. But like he said, if you love what you do, you'll work 10 times harder because you know what's for yourself, for your passion. At the end of the day, fuels your heart. Next question is, are you colorblind?
I am. Yeah. So I don't see shades. So like for example, blue and purple look the exact same to me. Red, green, and brown look the same to me.
Yeah.
Like so any colors that are relatively similar, I can't tell the difference.
Gotcha.
So all my paintings are very thick. You can even in these small paintings you can see, but like they're very thick for a reason. Is because I can't rush a painting.
Gotcha.
I can't add yellow over here and blue over here because it'll make muddy brown, and I won't see it changing. So every painting is thick because of that.
Right.
So I mean, all my mom's it comes down from the mom's side. All my mom's cousins and uncles are colorblind. So my mom knew since I was 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's like kudos to you, like the self-confidence to even dive into art where color needs to be used more likely than not. And like believing in yourself that way. Did you ever have moments where you were kind of like, oh, can I do this? Like because of that or no?
Oh, because of the colorblind?
Yeah.
I never. It's just so normal to me. I've been colorblind my whole life.
Yeah.
So, but there has been so many times. I mean, especially early in my career, that like I did a painting that I thought was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And I mean, it did look stunning to me. But then my wife would be like, "Did you mean to make this like all brown, or did you mean to make this like really?" Because I don't see it when it becomes muddy.
Right.
There's a very fine line between like mixing colors and then just becoming mud.
Yeah.
And I don't see that change. I don't see when the colors blend.
Yeah.
So there has been some paintings where like, and never would my wife be, or like anyone that sees painting be like, "Oh, that's ugly."
Oh, of course.
They would just say like, "Well, did you mean to do that? Like,
Yeah.
are those colors supposed to be there?" Because they know I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
They're like, "No, I didn't mean to do that at all. What do you mean? It's yellow and blue.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So that is tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I mean, like, and especially your wife, like, she's obviously gonna ask because she knows you don't actually mean it. So she's just like, hey, like, just in case you didn't see it.
Yeah. Or sometimes I'll do a custom commission. I do a lot of customs where like it's mainly usually based on color. Nowadays, when people tell me to do custom, they're not telling me what to paint.
Right.
But like it's going in a very specific room that, there's a lot of blue hues or whatever. And there's been a few times where I made a huge painting that was supposed to be blue. Or like the tones are supposed to be blue.
Right.
And it's like purple and pink.
No.
And like I didn't mean it. I just picked up a bottle. Maybe the labels rubbed off for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I just started using it. And like the whole painting's purple. I'm like, this sucks. Like, so
Damn.
that happens.
But then what happens in that? You have to redo it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Sometimes like I've done that 3 times, like in 10 years.
Okay.
And they're so vivid to me because they were such big mistakes.
Yeah.
But all 3 times I was honest with the person.
Right.
And I said like, "Hey, listen, like this is what I did." So one time the person was like, "Yeah, don't worry, still love it."
Yeah.
And the other 2 were like, "Can you just add highlights of the color we need?" And so I didn't have to like white them out or anything.
Oh,
but,
okay.
So they ended up just like going, they're like, "Actually, it's better that you did what you wanted to do." So
True. And like it's like that also shows the person, right? Because like I'd be like, you know what? I'm also a believer in everything happens for a reason. So like if that did happen, that came from your heart. Like I understand adding the hues to pull from the room and the furniture.
Sure.
But adapting with it, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
You've obviously been in rooms with, some big names and big people. Like what's something that you've really learned from all of them, from them being in such a high position that you can now incorporate into your life?
Yeah. I think that like relentless work ethic trumps everything. In all different industries, it doesn't matter what you're doing. The people that I have seen succeed, and success means family-wise, monetarily, travel, whatever it may be, they were relentlessly focused on achieving a singular goal at a time, and they continue to do that for their whole entire life. Yeah. There isn't small instances of like, let me work hard today and tomorrow I can take off. Like everyone that I've seen that has achieved something of stature, they worked astronomically hard. Don't let social media fool you. Yeah. Don't let anything else fool you. They worked astronomically hard to get to where they were. And that is the biggest trait across so many different people that I've met is, this desire, this work ethic is so prevalent in there every single day that's the only way to make it work.
For sure. And I think you said something really big there, which is don't let social media fool you. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, social media is such a snippet of someone's life, whether they're super successful or not and starting from scratch. Like you'll never really see the work and the attention and the detail that people put into their craft or their art behind the scenes. No one's documenting 13-hour days and posting it. Like, it's not happening. But it's understanding that it's very rare for someone to be an overnight success. Like, it comes with work.
Yeah, like the only time that society can glorify these is in music because they have a one-hit wonder. They call it, right? So but even that, there was some form of buildup when they were kids, when they were the hours were put in. Yeah, one song might have popped, or this product on the 7th time you've released a product pops, but it's just not real.
Yeah.
And yet, to your point, you're 100% right that there is some overnight successes. Somebody also wins the lottery. Like, yes, there is somebody that wins that $40 million pot.
Yeah.
Sure, cool. If that's what we're shooting for, just all go buy lottery tickets. It's not real.
Yeah.
So overnight success or one-hit wonder, like, that's not real. Yeah. It's just, just like the lottery is not real.
Yeah.
The chances of you winning, the chances of you being that overnight success, it's not real. How's that sound?
No, I think that sounds good. That sounds good. I agree with you, though, 100%.
It's something I'm very passionate about because it takes so long to do everything.
Yeah.
Right? Everything is just, it's so hard.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Like, go back to being a parent. Like, it's, and you end up realizing that, like, it's everyone's first time doing anything.
Yep.
Right?
1,000%.
Where, like even in your first podcast or like whatever it may have been, we're not going to be good at the start. Yeah. Like, it's going to take time.
But it's even like going to, let's say, a regular 9-to-5 job. Your first day on that job, no matter what it is your first day on that job.
Yes.
So now if you're working there for 5 years, well, guess what? In your 5th year, you probably got shortcuts on a keyboard and, the ins and outs when it's like, okay, but if the customer came to you in your first day, you'd probably be nervous. You don't know what to do. It's the same thing with anything, like you were saying, right? And I think that sometimes that gets forgetting because it's like, oh, someone's an entrepreneur, they're taking a risk on themselves. Or like, growing up, I thought my parents had it all figured out. Mm-hmm. You become an adult and realize actually it was their first time being a parent. It still is. Like, it's literally their first time being a parent. It's a
beautiful statement, yes.
Right? So it's just like, I always say as humans, and I think I say this almost every episode, but we're meant to operate out of love and out of a high vibration, gratitude and positivity. You are not born negative. You are not born miserable. You're not born angry. That comes from your upbringing, traumatic experiences, but you don't have to hold yourself to that.
Yes.
You can move on from that, acknowledge it, try to heal it, and now only do better to the world in front of you.
100%.
And I had one of my guests on here said to me, like, it takes just as much effort to assume positive intent as it does negative intent. I was like, you're right. Like, I didn't think about that, He's like, someone's late, maybe they're going to see someone in the hospital. Someone cuts you off, maybe they're going to get their kid. Most people's first reaction is you cut me off. Oh, fuck you. Like, what are you doing? And it's like, why? So now I try that. Like, you know what? This happened. I don't know what they're going through. Like, let them go through. I know it's just projection towards me, you know?
That's a beautiful mindset to have.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Because it's so real.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is that we were just talking about was, when I talk about creativity and being an artist, everyone's like, oh, it's so easy for you. I can't draw a stick person. They always go to that. But to your point, but here's the beauty of that.
Yeah.
To your point about when you started work versus 5 years later.
Right.
Creativity is in each and every single one of us. Mm-hmm. The way that you used to solve problems on your day 1 versus year 5, you're utilizing creativity to, I know how to get through this problem. So we're all so inherently creative. We just tell ourselves we're not because we can't draw a stick person. Yeah. Like, what does that even matter? So once you start realizing that if you're acting out of love and gratitude and happiness, and then you implement creativity into all of that, literally life becomes easier.
Yeah.
Because you can achieve everything. You're like, I've been through this before. I've done this before. I know what will happen if I put in the work. The results will come. If you constantly tell yourself that, then it comes true.
Yep. And that's a massive point. That's actually the first time someone's brought up like creativity in that aspect to me. Because I was always the first one. Like, I can't draw if my life depended on it. Yeah. My friends would make fun of me, but like, it's a joke because I can't.
Sure.
But then I would automatically just be like, well, I'm not creative. Like, that's it. I used to shut it out in school. Like, wait to take art or music. I forced myself into music because I can't draw. And then someone had said to me once, though, like, why are you tying creative just to art?
Yes.
I'm like, because that's what it is. Like, if you're creative is art. And then over the years myself, I'm like, wait, I love photography. I have to get creative with how I take certain photos. And I would always kind of deny it, but hearing it come from you is like, that is so true. But with anything, any problem you solve, you have to get creative with how to solve it. There's a traffic jam. How am I getting around it? If you don't GPS it, It's your brain. What are you going to do? You know, I play sports on the field. I have to get creative. How am I going to get around a player? How am I going to make the pass? So that's very, like, that resonates very strongly with me, because like me and art don't align. I love it on my wall, but I can't draw. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's a massive point.
It's important.
Well, 100%.
It's important.
100%. What is the most you've ever sold one of your paintings for?
Like a singular painting, probably 60,000. So most of them range in like the $20,000 to $30,000 range. One was like, this singular painting was like quite large. Yeah. Custom. So yeah, but they're all in that $25,000 range. For sure. But singular one painting. 60.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Was
it
in a house?
Big. It was for an office.
Oh, okay, nice. So like commercial space.
It was a commercial space actually in Australia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was for an investment bank in Australia.
Oh, huge. That's massive. So you do commercial and residential.
Yeah, I do a lot of most of it's still residential, but I do a lot of like condo developments. I'll do all the amenity spaces, lobbies, elevators, like all that type of fun stuff. Yeah. And then in the offices side of things, like outfitting an entire office, whether it's the initial lobby space, the boardrooms, the offices. Yep. So I'll do a lot of that as well. I like this. I really, really have passion in the commercial projects because I usually can curate an entire collection. So I can do things, ignoring that more paintings is probably a higher dollar amount, because you always work something out. For sure. But more importantly, I can curate an entire space with different styles of my own art. Yeah. So there's a common thread through the whole entire office, but they all look different. Right. And I think there's a beauty to that. Like being able to, like, you walk into the lobby, you see a beautiful piece of art. Now you're in the amenity space. Now you're in the kitchen. Now you're in the boardroom, and everything ties together, but they're unique in their own right. Yeah. I think that's really special. Well, it's like storytelling, right? And storytelling, I say, is like the number one seller for any sort of feeling that you want to put out. And that's what you do. When someone gives you the option to curate pieces like that, me as someone that obviously doesn't understand your thought process, I can still walk into that space and see kind of a connection through everything, even if it's to my own interpretation. Yep. So yeah, I that's really, really neat. Like, what's that feeling like walking into a space and you just see like it's your artwork, like you created the space? It's so silly. Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, sometimes I go into a space like years later and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I remember making this painting. Yeah. I remember what it felt like. I remember. So it's absolutely wild to me, especially some of the condos that I've done like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. Or really big murals. Yeah. I did a mural 2 years ago in Liberty Village. Yeah. And then we were there like 2 weekends ago, and I took my family, like we went to go see it with my parents and stuff. And I was like, I remember doing this. I remember how scared I was on this skyjack. It's 50 feet in the air. And like, I remember the feelings of making this, and now just seeing it years later, like, oh, this is like so cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's such an honor. And I feel like let's take the Liberty Village example. Like, first of all, that's massive. If you're from Toronto, you get it. But you know, not only for you, but now you're going there and you're seeing maybe other people are taking photos in front of it. It's crazy. Because they're like astonished by it. And I feel like that's probably so heartwarming, because like they may not know it's the guy beside them that painted that, but they feel so connected to it that they're like, hey, like, get me in the photo, you know, with my partner, with my kids. Like, so you're now impacting others' lives way deeper than maybe your initial thought of what it was, right? So there was a couple when we were there 2 weeks ago taking a photo in front of it, and they were like taking a selfie, and they're like, oh, sorry, can you take a photo of us? I was just there. Yeah. I'm like, of course. And they're like, oh, so cool. I'm like, oh, I painted this. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, where did you come from? Like, what do you mean you painted this? I'm like, yeah, it's my name right on the wall. Like, what? I love that. So yeah, it was very funny. It happens. It's happened so many times. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But what obviously I can gather too from your energy is like you're very humble. So like you're not, and people will pick up on that and actually appreciate it that much more. You know, you're not walking around like, oh yeah, I did that. Like no, I was like happy to take a photo of them. Yeah, it's like, so cool. Yeah. I used to do that all the time in the gallery, like in Yorkdale specifically because there's such high traffic. Right. I would be like working in it or just standing around in there. And somebody like, can you take a picture of us? I'm like, yeah, of course. And then as they're walking over, someone else says, you know, that's the artist. Like, wait, what just happened? Why is he standing right there? Yeah. And then they're like, fun. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Like this. Yeah. No, so I love that. Cool. I love that. When it comes to like the creative process when creating art, have you ever found yourself like you get into those ruts? And like, how do you deal with it? Do you step away? Do you play music? Like, what's your process with that? You know, creative block and writer's block and any business block, whatever it is very real. Yeah. I just found doing something else helps. Okay. But I try to keep it in line. So what I mean by that is like, I remember very vividly a few years ago, I just didn't know what to paint. Like, I just didn't have any inspiration, maybe. I don't know what it was. I was going through a little bit of a writer's block. I'm like, let me try making a sculpture, like making the mold of one, figuring out how to use resins, figuring out how to make a sculpture. And it opened up an entire different unlock to my art. This heart motif that I specifically used the last like 4.5, 5 years. I used to always just do regular hearts, like just a spray painted heart. It came because I had to make a 3D model for a sculpture. I needed to have a model. And then when I made it, I'm like, wait, I like how this worked. I like how this heart looks. And that's what became the root of everything I do now from a creative block, which is absolutely wild. So I think just like not necessarily working through it, but working through something when you're in those, not just sitting around feeling bad for yourself, is the way to get through them.
That right what you just said at the end is massive. Not just sitting around feeling bad for yourself. Like it's accepting that it is real, like you just said. Everyone goes through it. I don't care how famous you are. I don't care if you're just starting out. Everybody will go through it. They may not show it, but they are. So if you're in that position, like he said, like try to switch your thought process, do something different. Like, because in that you'll clear your mind and you'll actually get more of a kickstart to go back to your original process. And look at you, like you diverted a bit because you had to do something else, and it actually fueled literally
all my art.
literally. Like before obviously meeting you, like I honestly knew you as this. Like these paintings, these hearts, and like I love hearts and like I like graffiti, and it's kind of a mix of both. So to me, I'm like, that is so cool. And it's interesting to hear that it didn't even it stemmed from a sculpture.
So organically. Like I didn't even mean to start doing that. Like it wasn't even something like I was like, oh, I'm gonna start painting hearts as my motif. Like they just slowly started happening because I used to always tell myself, follow your heart. So I used to write it on the wall in my studio, and then they slowly made their way into my paintings, and then they eventually took on the life of their own with the shape and everything that I do.
Well, I love that, and I think it's important too, where it's like, you know, your inner knowing and your inner being will always kind of know and fuel you to success. And there's a lot of successful people that say it just kind of happened. Like it wasn't intentional, it just kind of happened. And when you hear that, it's because you know, like it was just fueled from their passion. Like they just stumbled upon it. They weren't sitting there like, I need to draw hearts. How am I going to draw hearts? Like, what am I going to, like, you know, it just casually came. But it was also years of you painting and creating art that brought you to there. It won't happen right. It may not happen right away.
No, it casually came after 300 paintings.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, like
exactly.
It's not you back to the notion of overnight success. Like, hey, maybe you could have figured it out in 5 paintings. I don't know, but just trusting that process and just keep going with the flow as you did led you now to this, which is amazing. So
thank you.
What's the goal for Anthony in 5 to 10 years from now when it comes to art?
It's just to continue making art.
All right.
But like, so this past like holiday season during Christmas, I've done a lot of different collabs with brands. But this was my first time I did a distribution collab. So what I did a collaboration with Prisoner Wine, and it went into every LCBO and liquor store across Canada, the box I designed. That to me is so exciting because I always envision, I've done collaborations with like Disney and Adidas and Lexus or BMW, but they're mainly event based. I would go to Disney and I would paint something for their store. Like so those were collaborations, but I had never done a distribution collaboration where I create something, then it goes into the mass market. That to me is the most exciting thing. So my real goals are, I want to continue to create, incredible canvases, but then second to that is creating products and collaborations that allow me to go into different stores and avenues. Somebody just randomly walking through LCBO or a liquor store can buy a bottle with my art on it is absolutely wild.
For sure.
So that's what I love.
And that's cool too, because again, you're targeting a different group of people, even if it wasn't LCBO, like anywhere that you kind of tap into. Like now it's not just art. Maybe some people don't want to hang something on their wall, but they appreciate that case on that bottle. They're going to save it forever and display it. I've bought some alcohol from LCBO. The case is so nice.
It's cool,
It's up. I have it in my office. Like it's so cool. So that's interesting too, because now you're even tapping into people's spaces without almost intentionally doing it. Like it was through collaboration for sure.
Exactly.
What's the greatest legacy you'd want to leave behind for your kids?
That hard work pays off. That's really it. Like if I can, you end up realizing, to go back to the thing that you said, like, you end up realizing that your parents is their first time too, but that goes for everyone in your life. And I think that the best lesson that you can learn is like seeing someone work really hard to achieve their goals inspires me to inspire someone to. So talking about legacy for my kids, it's just that like I just want them to grow up and say, Dad worked really hard to give us this life,
Yeah.
and that would be whatever that means, whatever this life means. But just knowing that I gave it my all, is all I really want to do.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Would you say there's something that like maybe your parents instilled in you, like a really valuable lesson that you still keep with you to this day?
I mean, just that, like really that, like
Yeah.
just, if you believe in, I don't know if like it was something that I played sports growing up, so
Right.
everything, hockey, baseball, soccer,
Yeah.
whatever it was. But my dad was always very helpful in bringing me to all of these
Right.
practices, which are absolutely insanity. Now I look at it as a dad, and I know how hard it is to execute this. So I'm so grateful for him, and both my parents, of course. But like, my dad would be the one waking up at 6 a.m. to drive me to Hamilton for a practice and thing. When you're a kid, you just like, okay, I gotta go to practice.
Right.
But like now as a dad, it's absolute insanity, and I'm so grateful for it. So I think that lesson of like practice matters, but what you do outside of practice matters even more. And so that they gave me that platform to be able to work hard, to train, to things. So sports, I owe so much to sports because that's the way I think about my parents, because they helped me so much in sports. And so I think that was the biggest lesson, is that if you work hard at something, you can become good.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like I'm gonna tap into that because even for me, like my parents were like practices and every game, like they were there. Didn't matter near far, like they showed up. And like you don't realize it so much when you're younger. You're just like, oh, it's my parents, they're here.
Yeah.
But like when I got to playing in university for soccer, like I remember my first game, my parents weren't there because it was like really far. It was in Ottawa, they couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like I looked up and I actually got sad. I was like, why is this hitting me so hard? Like it should,
Yeah.
But you realize in that moment, like shit, like they're your day ones. Like they paid for you to go through that. They hustled to get you there. Like, and they showed up. And like from that moment, I always said to myself, like when I have kids one day, like I will show up.
Yep.
And like if I can show up in even the slightest way possible, like I'll be there. School trips, whatever it is, you know, like it goes so far.
So far.
So far.
Yeah.
Like especially as a child, like you feel the love, and like I pray and I hope that every parent can provide that for their children,
Yeah, it's so important. Like I went to school in Alabama, so it was really hard for my parents to come down just because of the distance,
for
right?
sure.
But like the couple times that they did, or they would come every season, it was the best.
Yeah.
Right? Like to go to your point, like it's like it's just like that's the most fun time ever.
For
It's
sure,
just
100%.
like, right?
You're like
So-
excited, especially when you grew up to them coming to everything. It's like they're here, like let's go,
Yeah.
Wait, so Alabama, like Roll Tide?
No,
right?
I went to Alabama State.
Oh,
in
okay,
Montgomery.
okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah, it was cool. It's still Division I. We played against them.
Yeah.
We did a bunch of. I got to pitch against some. I was a pitcher, so I got to pitch against some of the biggest schools and players in the nation, which is really cool.
That's so cool. Do you
Yeah.
still play, like for
No,
hobby?
I don't play.
No,
No.
stop.
I stopped when I came home. I opened up a baseball school, pitching school when I graduated, just because I didn't have a job yet, just in the thing.
Yeah.
And then that sort of got me over my mental thing of like not having to play anymore, like
Right.
being disconnected. And then when I was coaching so much, and then I ended up quitting finance and baseball coaching to become an artist.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing this again until I'm a parent.
Yeah.
So now I play with my son all the time,
Yeah.
and I'm not his coach on his team,
Okay.
but I help with the team because I once he gets a little older and he's still so little,
Yeah.
I'll be his coach because it's the only sport. Like, I mean, I could play soccer with him, I could
Yeah.
play basketball, I could play hockey with him,
Yeah.
but baseball, like not being humble, I can teach him at the highest level.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I could. Like,
Right,
I can't
right.
really teach him anything else at the highest level.
Right.
So he seems to like it. And
I was gonna say,
mean,
yeah, like you can see
he
he has a
loves it.
passion.
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. He loves it. But I mean, he loves everything. So I just
Yeah.
want to give him. It's really there's such a fine line. I felt it last season. This year he's been really good. He just started baseball here in
Yeah.
Toronto. There's such a fine line of how much do you push a kid, and I'm not good at this, and I don't really know.
Yeah.
My dad said like he never had to tell me to go to a practice. I just wanted to go, so he didn't have to deal with it. So. But there was a time last year when my son was like in different things. Like he was in wrestling, he was in soccer, whatever he's in. But like I remember one time in baseball, he's like, "Oh, I don't want to go to baseball tonight. Like I don't want to go." And I was like, "That's so weird to me. Like I didn't think I would face this."
Yeah.
But I was like, "Okay, you know what?" Like so I remember one time we went and like he was just sort of whatever.
Yeah.
Then the next like couple weeks later, he went to the next couple weeks later. He's like, "I don't want to go." I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Like I'm not gonna force you. Like,
Yeah.
I can't because I don't want him to resent this."
100%.
And I try to like when I'm practicing with him, try to make it as fun as possible. We play games during it and all this different stuff. So it's really tricky. Like how much do you push a kid?
Yeah.
Like I don't want them to not like it.
Yeah.
Like and obviously he doesn't have to go get a scholarship or play professionally, but I just know the importance of sport
Yes.
and team. You'll know being on a team,
Yeah.
the importance is so incredible that I want him to experience it.
Right.
If he wants to take it on to the next level, that takes a whole other level of work.
Yeah.
But as long as he can be a part of a team, work hard with other players, work alongside, maybe be a leader on and off the field, those lessons, they last forever.
For sure. And I think anyone in sport can like agree to that. That
Yeah.
like I always tell people it's so hard to explain what I've learned playing sport my whole life, but the lessons that I've taken with me, even just into entrepreneurship, like
Yeah.
are massive, right? You learn
Yeah.
collaboration, you learn how to deal with others. If you become a leader on a team, you learn how to navigate others' emotions and like
Yeah.
how do you talk to each player, and like you have to do that from a young age. Like I was in high school, I was a captain, and it's like I'm still trying to figure out my emotions, and I gotta like figure out everyone else's emotions.
Yeah.
But you learn and you take it with you, and I think that fine line is something. Like, I'm not a parent, but I know for sure it's something a lot of people kind of struggle with, because even me growing up, like, I loved passion from like soccer from my core. Like, I would go outside for hours by myself, do my own drills. So my parents never had to drag me like you. I would just be like, practice, let's go. I want to be there like half hour early. I had a few times though where I was like, I don't want to go. But for them, I know they saw my
You did everything
commitment.
else. Yeah.
So they were just like, so why don't you want to go? Like, it doesn't add up.
Something else is missing.
Correct.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's if they're trying everything and they have those moments, then it's like, okay, maybe like the passion's fueling from another sport or like, that casual aspect of it. And the good part is he's so young that it's like he could literally do anything.
Yeah. When I was in Cabo, it was for this event. It's for a charity event, but it was hosted by a company named Galway and Epic Insurance and My Capital, which does the financial investing and insurance for a lot of top athletes.
Yeah.
And they said this really, and you'll appreciate this from women's sports. They said a stat, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. And because there was a couple WNBA players there, and there was a couple teams that own two of the NWSL, the Women's Soccer League, Professional Soccer League. And I didn't know this, but this is a stat, and you can research it, that 90% of C-suite, so CEO, CFO, CIO, C-suite executives that are women played sports until high school.
Wow.
Or into high school, sorry.
Yeah.
90% of all C-suites in North America played a sport throughout high school, which is absolutely wild.
Yeah.
But because of having to be a part of a team, and I would have never thought of that stat in the world.
For sure.
And like 4 different people that were there were like, no, that is a fact in society. I was like, but it actually makes so much sense.
Yeah, yeah,
like
100%.
if you're, and for males, it's the exact same.
Yeah.
It's the exact same. But for females, it's even stronger because of all the different strengths that, and women's sports is becoming so much more in the limelight now, which is amazing, as it should be.
Right.
So it's really, really cool to hear that. Like that is living proof of like what teamwork and execution and having to work along different people and having to dedicate yourself to practice can actually do.
For sure. And I think, like, first of all, that, like, I'm like shocked because I did not think
everyone
it was that
in
big.
the crowd was.
Yeah. But then when I think about it, I'm like, wait, hold on. It also kind of makes sense. Because if you think about it too, like, you want to get stereotypical, like back in the day, it's like, okay, men were these leaders in these C-suite positions. Now a lot more females are getting into those positions, which is great. But I think it's why a lot of people still have like a beef with that is because, well, women are more emotional. And it's like, well, when you're in sports, yes, women are typically more emotional. It's just hormones. But when you're in sports, you learn how to manage that emotion because there's no time to cry for an hour before getting on the field of a final soccer game. No, like you got to figure it out, buckle up your boots and go. And like, it's that discipline. And I always say like my discipline in life strictly came from sports. Like my parents too, obviously, like they were very strict, but sports keeps you disciplined.
Of course.
My coaches, you were late. Okay, you're sitting the first. I don't care if you're a starter. I don't care if you're the best player on the field. You're not. Like you're not getting princess treatment to say. You know, even though it's a bit of a controversial term now. But whatever.
Yes, got it.
Yeah,
I agree.
You got me.
Agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, but even.
But that can only happen in sports setting.
But that's what I'm saying. But even
that can't
just
happen
like,
anywhere else.
No, but even like and this is so now off topic from art, but I have this beef with participation medals.
Of course.
You either win or you come second. That's just that's life. Like it's. But when you're giving a medal to 5th place for showing up, and it's like, well, no, because then they're going to become complacent, and when you're complacent, you're comfortable, and you're comfortable, you don't grow. It's the cycle. Hey, guess what? You came 5th place. We're going to try harder next time. Let's go. We're training all year. Let's get back. Let's get back into the finals. Let's compete. Now I'm hungry for something.
Of course.
If you're satisfying my fifth place win, it's not a win, you know? And it's like, that could also be, some people have fights with that. Well, my kid showed up. Great. That's the bare minimum. Like, they have to show up.
Less than the minimum.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Anyways, I got off topic with that.
No, it's true.
Right?
It goes all hand in hand with everything. Like, it is, that's real.
Well, think about it. If, let's say, even like you're creating art and you're getting, you know, awards for maybe not having the best painting in the gallery or not selling the most, so you may be like, okay, you know what, like I still got an award. Like, it's fine.
Okay, yeah.
You're not going to push yourself to be like, no, you know what, next year I'm going to come back and I'm going to have the sickest painting on this wall. Yeah. Like, it's those little tendencies you build when you're small that last so long and like will really stay instilled in you unless they somehow get diverted out of you, you know?
Yep.
But
I agree.
Yeah, but I have a few quick fire questions for you.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Wait, okay, but the first one, when you paint, do you listen to music?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the most emotional song you've ever painted to?
Emotional. What's that Zach Bryan song? The one, Clean the House, Mop the Floor. What's that song?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Remember.
And if you're a Zach Bryan fan, you should know what he's talking about.
I should know it too. I know.
If you're
absolutely obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Pink Skies.
Yes. Yes.
So yes.
Okay.
That's, I mean, a relatively emotional song. So
yeah. Okay. Mural or canvas?
I do so many more canvases. So canvas.
Okay. Paint with chaos or with calm?
Absolute chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Why?
Because I could just get more done.
I like that.
Like I work on like 12 paintings at a time.
Yeah.
And like everything's a disaster. So like definitely chaos.
I like that.
Yeah.
Describe your one word to describe your art.
Passionate.
One word to describe your soul.
Loving.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee. All day.
That one I just added in there. I was like,
coffee.
That last question was so deep.
Yeah.
And now, so like I said, before I met you, you know, with the hearts, like it's also kind of become like a brand of its own,
sure.
right? Would you say this now, like it started organically, now has it turned more into something strategic where you're playing more on the hearts?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you end up realizing that you need to have something that people can globally recognize you by. So yeah, it didn't happen on purpose and I just kept doing it. But now I have something that anywhere I travel, they can say, oh, that's yours. Yeah. And of course, other people do hearts. I didn't create the shape of a heart. I created the shape of this heart.
Correct.
So like this style of heart. Yeah. So if someone else does that then there's like, no, that's an Anthony. Yeah. But like, I didn't create the shape of a heart. Right. It's so globally recognized. So I am often weary to say like, you know, the heart's my thing because it's not. It's everything I do with them. The link style that I do, like for example, these. I think I'm the first to do that. Yeah. Like there's definitely things that I you know, do, but it definitely has become a brand. I mean, I'm wearing shorts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wearing shorts with them on. Like, but I don't do that for, you know, I don't do it for branding. Like, I mean, sorry, I do it for branding, not for sale. Like I don't want to have a business doing it. I had built out a whole entire brand with like jewelry with the hearts on it. But then you end up realizing it takes away from like your actual canvases and everything. So it definitely is branded, but again, super organically.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think what is cool about it is that if you did tap back into like, you know, whether it's merch or, you know, even the necklaces or the jewelry, because it is generic in the sense where everyone can relate to it, everyone, like people would love to rep it. Yeah. They can feel like it's like their heart on their sleeve or, you know, the way you even designed it, like I said, it's just so cool that like I'd wear a hoodie with it, you know, you could spray paint it. Like you can do so many things
and
with
I've done all those type of things. Right?
Exactly.
And when I first started, I actually thought men wouldn't relate.
Really?
I mean, it's a heart.
Okay, fair.
Right?
Fair,
like,
fair.
I mean, like I'm a sports guy.
Yeah,
like at the end, my root of me is just I'm a athlete.
Yeah.
So it was always very funny, especially early in my career. Like obviously all my old teammates and stuff. Like, what are you painting hearts? Like this is I don't know, unfortunately controversial. But over time, maybe it's because of my shape, maybe it's because of the way I structure, maybe because of the colors. Like I have a lot of husbands that will buy a painting with a heart before their wives would. Wow. Or like, I mean, all my shorts they're mainly made for men. Yeah. I have so many different colors and done so many different things with them, but like it's all men wearing them. Yeah. So it's like so interesting. I didn't think that would happen.
For sure.
Like I thought it was the demographic would be women.
Yeah.
But like this heart necklace, I did a whole entire line, it was only for women. But like this heart necklace, when I first released it,
Yeah.
it was bought by like 70% men.
Wow.
Yeah, because just Ernesto used to wear one like every single day.
Oh, that's
like
sick.
it just because it's just like globally relatable.
For sure. Yeah. And I think honestly a big part of it too is like how you designed it. It's not this like perfect fluffy heart with an arrow in it.
It's dripping,
like,
it's rugged.
It's sick.
Yeah.
It's just cool. Like you guys can see the paintings. Like it's this mix of, yes, it's a heart, but it's like this graffiti style, LinkedIn, dripping paint. Like it's, you could have easily made it very feminine, but you did it in a way where feminine or masculine, I feel like it resonates. So it like crushed the goal with that.
Thank you.
So last question to wrap it up. What's one piece of advice you'd give your 16-year-old self?
I think that understanding that it eventually all works out through like the highs and the lows, and to work harder than you think you're working. So what I mean by that is when we're kids, or I mean, even now, like even today, like when I think I gave it my all, I had more to give. Right. And if I would have understood that a lot younger in my life, we always say, so I'm 32, 33, I don't even know how old I am, 33. I always be like, I wish I was 16 again. Because I would crush this. I would be, oh my God. But the truth is that I will one day be 46 and I'll look back on 13 years and be like, I wish I was 33 again. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a change. So understanding that, I answer that question, like, what should I tell my 16-year-old self? The same thing I should tell myself now, which is just work hard. Yeah. And like literally give it your all, whatever you're doing, whether it's being a dad, whether it's being present right here, whether it's being a significant other, whether it's painting, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Yeah. Give it your absolute all.
Yeah. I love that. And I like that analogy with, you know, a lot of us say, oh, I wish I was younger. Yeah. I wish I was 60. I wish I was 10. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And then it's like, but then I look at my parents who are like in their mid 50s. They're like, I wish I was your age. I know. And I'm like, why? I wish I was his age. Like, so it's true.
Ends.
It never ends.
It never ends.
But
we have to change it now.
I agree.
It never ends unless we actually start implementing these things that we know. Yeah. The beauty about everything is we know what to do. Yep. We literally know what to do. It's math. Yeah. It's simple. Yeah. Like execute a hot. Not everything's going to work out, but some will, and that's the win.
Yeah. 100%. And I think it's also like showing gratitude for the wins in the present. Sure. So that, you know, you are happy. We're always chasing like what the next thing is, or I want to be back in the past, but very rarely do people operate in the present. Yeah. It's kind of, and that's aligning with what you're saying. And it's like, okay, so operate in the present, but don't be miserable about everything. Like, you know, find those glimpses, even on a bad day. And I know it's so hard. Like, I'm not perfect, but just find something. Yeah. You know, I woke up today, I had a good cup of coffee. Maybe it spilled, but it was good when I was drinking it. Like, it's those little wins that I don't want to get to 50 and say, I wish I was 20, or because it's like, you know, I should at least be proud of my journey to that point. You're going to always learn things in life to the point where you want to go back and say, I wish I knew then. But I think our jobs as humans is to take what we've learned and now pass it on to whether it's kids or through the podcast or strangers or friends. Take your knowings and share them with others rather than just saying, well, I wish I knew then. Well, you didn't, and we're here. You learned, and now let's spread it to others. Yeah. You know?
One more thing I want to add to the 16-year-old thing. Yeah. Which was, I truly believe we don't dream big enough. And what I mean by that is, when I was 16, or I mean 23 when I quit my job, all I want to do is be an artist. Right. And you end up realizing that like your goals need to be astronomical. Yeah. They need to be out of this absolute world because you're going to achieve them. Yeah. Like my goals were so simple. Like sell a painting, or like do a mural. Yeah. Do a show outside of Toronto. The goals I say this very confidently, was like they weren't big enough. Yeah. And then as you keep going, like you said, living in the moment, as you keep going, you're like, well, now, because your goals are just going to keep stacking up. Right. Our goal should be bigger from the start. So like if I had to go back to being 16 years old, my goal should be the biggest artist in the world. Yeah. And then let's work backwards from that. Like, what does that mean? I didn't say that till a lot later in life, and it'll catch up. I'll get there. Yeah. Because everything does. Everything, if you believe in something, you put it out into the world, doesn't matter what you believe in life. If you put something out into the world, it comes true. Yeah. Negative and positive. Yep. That's the other beauty. So if you talk negatively, nothing goes my way, like blah, 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 like whatever people like to complain about, guess what? Nothing's going to go your way.
It's true.
So that's what I would tell my 16-year-old self.
That's true. That's a really big point too, where it's like we do hinder ourselves because we just think, well, I'm not capable. And it's like, you're capable. There's people in this world, historically, present, future even, that have achieved things that we may look at like, wow, how? Yeah. all they did was set their mind to it.
Yeah.
Like no one was born any different than the next person. We're all dying and going to the same place.
Yeah.
But all they did was keep believing in themselves, pushing themselves, hustling. And yeah, maybe their dreams were 10x. Like maybe my dream is I want to get out 20 episodes. Well, I hit 20 episodes. Like, wait, no, how about I want to get out like 100, you know? Or
and then you hit 100.
Exactly. And then you're like, what? No, how about I want to like interview the president of the US? Now it's like, okay, it's big, you know? And it's like, but even for you, like when you were younger and starting art, maybe you didn't imagine, you know, giving a painting to Lil Wayne or sitting in Drake's house. Like that's big.
Never imagine selling a painting.
Exactly.
Like for $500.
Exactly. You're like, let me sell one painting.
Let's just sell one that covers the cost of the paint. That was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Right? Like I couldn't grasp that concept.
Yeah.
But the goal is you need to think bigger.
100%. I agree. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Guys, like, subscribe, share, do your thing. I'm going to link Anthony's socials in all the bios. Reach out to him. Buy painting from him. They're like really cool. And I think everyone can like have some sort of resonation or like value when buying one. Again, one more time, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And catch you on the next episode.